Before this video begins, if you'd like to see me play Uma Musume live on my Twitch, I'll link it down in the description below. To further support this series, consider becoming a channel member as well, or leave a super chat and tell me what you enjoyed most. Thank you to all my current channel members and subscribers over on Twitch. And now, without further delay, let's get right into the video. Horse racing remains to this day as one of the most popular sports in Japan. Through the decades, legacies have been established and several racehorses have solidified themselves in the JRA Hall of Fame, forever immortalized for their greatness on the racetrack. Every year, around 6,000 to 8,000 new racehorses are registered to the JRA.
Beautiful.
And of that group, less than 30% would manage a single win throughout their career. Of this 30%, even fewer would be known as Triple Crown racehorses. Over the span of 1941 to 1992, the odds of becoming a Triple Crown racehorse were 1 in every 76,500. For many, this prestigious title was far out of reach.
I need Kick to sponsor me to gamble on racehorses now. I want to go to racehorses.
But for one racehorse, it would be the foundation to a story of perseverance. This is the story of Tokai Teio, the racehorse who defied all odds and turned the tragedy into a triumphant return.
And turned into an idol.
If you've been playing Uma Musume or have been following the series, you'll know the game utilizes real-life events to shape the characters we race in the game. Before we dive into Teio's story, we first need to familiarize ourselves with what exactly a Triple Crown racehorse is. In the game, you'll compete in various races to climb to the top, eventually reaching the Ura Finale series. This instance in the game, just like everything in Uma Musume, is modeled after races that took place in real life. A Triple Crown racehorse is a 3-year-old thoroughbred who has won 3 races that make up the prestigious Japanese Triple Crown. These races should sound familiar if you played through Uma Musume Pretty Derby.
And this is the title that you can only get once, right? Because you can only get them from 2 to 3 years, from my understanding.
These races include the Satsuki Sho, Tokyo Yunshun, or the Japanese Derby, and the Kika Sho. The first ever Triple Crown racehorse was ST Light, who was given the Triple Crown title in 1941. The next racehorse to receive this title would be Shinzan in 1964, Mr. CB in 1983, and finally Symboli Rudolph in 1984.
They're so pretty.
Tokai Teio was set to be the next recipient of this prestigious title. This was because Symboli Rudolph was Teio's sire.
Okay, he kind of looks like a nerd with his hair like this. He's so cute.
Making him bred for the racetrack just as his father was. On April 20th, 1988, Tokai Teio was born at the Nagahama Ranch in Nikkapu, Hokkaido. Even Teio's name is a reference to his father's crowning achievements. Teio translates to monarch, directly referring to Rudolph's nickname Kote, meaning emperor. From birth, Tokai Teio didn't show much promise, having long legs and a delicate frame. However, his potential began to shine through as conditioning and training began. Teio displayed flexible movement and a competitive spirit, reigniting the hope that he could follow up in his father's footsteps.
I wonder what a competitive spirit means in a horse. Is he, like, he wants to win over other horses and stuff? I thought they were a pack animal. Like, is he more dominant? That's what I'm wondering.
This unique flexibility is also brought up in the series, both by her fellow Umas and in the iconic Teio step, which is present both in the anime and in-game. In the world of Uma Musume, Tokai Teio is a bright, bubbly Uma who has a natural-born talent for racing. She sees Rudolph as a mentor and a symbol of success. Rudolph is a student council president and always carries a sense of seriousness and elegance through the story of Uma Musume. With Tokai Teio, Rudolph seems to have a softer side for her junior, and even from afar, still hopes the best for the Uma who admires her so much. This is yet another nod to real-life events in Uma Musume, showcasing the lineage of Symboli Rudolph to Tokai Teio. Tokai Teio also displays high levels of speed in the series as well, a nod to the outstanding performance that he show on ramp courses. A horse of Tokai Teio's caliber should not have been able to record good times. He had a longer stride, but even still was able to shatter all expectations. Due to this, Shoichi Matsumoto, Teio's trainer, would plan a schedule to have Teio seize the next Triple Crown. In the anime, Tokai Teio is also racing as a legacy to Rudolph. Teio is inspired by seeing Rudolph race before she joins Tracen Academy. When first meeting with the legendary Triple Crown recipient, Teio vows to be the next Triple Crown racehorse, directly referencing the lineage Teio came from once more. Through the next string of victories, she'd inspire future generation of Umas in the series like Kita-san Black and Satono Diamond. From Teio's debut on December 1st, 1990, he dominated each and every single race he took part in. The very same speed and competitive spirit shown in Uma Musume is reflected in Teio's race history.
She's adorable.
From his initial debut until May 26, 1991, Teio remained undefeated on the race course. In this short time, he'd also placed first in the Satsuki Sho and Tokyo Yushun. This left only the Kika Sho to claim the Triple Crown. However, only 3 days after winning the Tokyo Yushun, Teio would hit a massive roadblock.
Uh-oh.
With the Kika Sho and the Triple Crown title within reach, Tokai Teio would sustain his first injury in his racing career.
Oh no.
Just as the anime subtly hints to in the first few episodes, Teio's keen-eyed handlers also felt something was off with the racehorse. After an examination on Teio was conducted, it was revealed that his left leg had been fractured. This, unfortunately, would shatter the dreams of Teio following in his father's footsteps.
No!
And in the anime, come as a devastating blow to Teio for not fulfilling her promise to Rudolph. The entirety of Uma Musume Season 2 are the ups and downs of Teio's career. From this point until Teio's final race, I will do my best to paint a coherent timeline between the anime and real-life events as best as I can. Due to Teio's delicate frame, he was more susceptible to injuries such as this.
I like that they brought back like his white spots in her hair, like as a detail.
Teio would spend nearly a year focusing on recovering and easing his way back into racing. In the anime, it's not depicted as anything severe. The first fracture is something Teio overcomes with relative ease and is back to racing shortly after. Returning to racing on April 5th, 1992, Tokai Teio will place first in the Osaka High. This came as a wave of relief to onlooking fans who were worried for Teio's first injury. Their beloved racehorse had bounced back, and even though he didn't receive a Triple Crown, he still displayed the same dominating presence he'd been known for on the racecourse. It was very rare to see an outcome like Teio's return, several months without racing to immediately dominating the competition once more. This feeling of relief, sadly, would be short-lived though. Teio's next race would be the Spring Tenno Show, with his major competition being Mejiro McQueen.
Ooh,
The interesting
McQueen!
thing about this race is the overall distance of it. Teio had raced on tracks ranging from 1800 to 2400 meters, comfortably racing medium-distance tracks over the course of his career. This would be Teio's first long-distance run, challenging both the Uma version and the real-life counterpart with a long road of conditioning and training. This rivalry reached its peak on April 26, 1992, when the Spring Tenno...
Imagine you're the guy there on the horse in the back. You're like, fuck, this race is so Jover.
Show would take place. Despite the difference in distance, Teio was still the majority favorite to win, holding his title as an undefeated racehorse. For context, up until this point in
gold
Teio's
chip,
career,
yeah.
the lowest he'd ever been on the fan favorite was third. In the 7 races previous, Teio would be the favorite to win by a landslide, and this race was no different. Due to this, it came as a major shock and upset that Teio wouldn't place second after McQueen, but instead 5th overall.
Damn.
This would be Teio's lowest placement in his career thus far. Unsurprisingly, Teio's image was criticized by the media, establishing this event as a dethroning of an undefeated racehorse. The expectation was high due to Rudolph being adept to long-distance running. However, Teio couldn't live up to the same expectation. This loss would sow the seeds of doubt in Uma Musume for Teio, and only continued to snowball from this point on.
That's sad.
Several days after Teio's defeat, he experienced his second leg fracture of his career. At this point, Teio's injuries would be taken more seriously. Repeated injuries such as fractures could be deadly to racehorses, so it would be best to tread lightly. Despite Teio's injuries, and clearly personified in the anime, Teio's fighting spirit never dwindled, even after losing both the Triple Crown and his undefeated race history. This is the point where the anime ventures away from real-life events, so from this point onward, I'll be sure to cover what the anime left out in the remainder of Teio's.
But why are horse fractures like deadly? Why can't they perform surgery on horses? We perform surgery on all kind of animals now. Like I feel like we have the technology, or we should have it.
Career. On November 1st, 1992, Teio participated in the Autumn Tenno Show. Even after the first defeat of his career, fans still firmly believed in Teio's ability to win. This was back on a 2,000-meter course, something Teio showed clear domination on in the early stages of his career. Sadly, this race too would come as a major upset to fans of the beloved racehorse. Teio found herself unable to accelerate any further midway through the race, as reflected from actual racing footage. Teio would hover mid-pack for the entirety of the race, finishing 7th overall, far lower than the original 5th place upset against McQueen. This would come as another major blow to...
It's just how they're built. Horse legs don't repair, so they put the horse down. It's probably very painful. Oh, you can't get a horse to sit or lay. They're like just wired to always be sitting, I guess. Not sitting up. Their legs just don't heal like that. I don't know why, but many Umas were laid to rest because of leg issues. The recovery is just too difficult for them. It's kinder to euthanize. Oh, okay. Then that's probably the right decision. I was just wondering because I'm like, they're spending millions on these horses, so like if they could heal them, then, and they have the means to, then I feel like they would do it.
Teio's reputation, and caused firm believers of Teio to lose faith in the racehorse who dominated the majority of their career. In Uma Musume, following the Autumn 10 no-show, we followed Teio on an emotional journey through recovery and rediscovery. Episode 7 of the anime would showcase a devastating loss at the Rima Kinen, with Teio placing 11th overall.
Oof.
Following this, Teio would fracture her leg yet again in episode 9, reflecting events that happened on June 3rd, 1993. The 11th place Rima Kinen would take place on December 27th, 1992. But between this point and the depiction of Teio's 3rd fracture, would be one of the most important races of Teio's career. This race, unfortunately, is not one depicted in the anime, and is a race that we're all too familiar with if you've seen Uma Musume Season 1. The Japan Cup is a prestigious international race first established in 1981. This would pit Japanese racehorses against the best from around the world. The first race would...
Fracture can cause horses to experience excruciating pain, and sometimes it can be aggravated since they can panic easily as prey animals after surgery, which leads to potential worse injuries. Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And they don't have muscles below their knees at all, so it's a gruesome process to heal severe break. Oh! Also, the leg can just straight up shatter, making the leg unhealable. That's so sad. So they can do something for minor breaks, but nothing for severe ones. True. Fully heal a bone fracture is next to impossible. That's true. I still have my bone fracture from my knee. That is true. And that's true, Jason. The pain does come back with like temperature, humidity. Sometimes I feel like it's swollen, or that I feel less in it.
Include horses from Japan, the United States, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and India. Horse racing had a strong presence in Japan at the time, and expectations were high to see a win from Japan overall. The first ever Japan Cup winner was Marzi Dotes from the United States, coming as a major upset to the Japanese people. Following the debut of the Japan Cup, the door would be open to the best horses from around the world to participate, solidifying it as one of the most competitive international events to ever be established in horse racing. From the Japan Cup's initial establishment to the time of Teio's racing career in 1992, there would only be 2 victors crowned from Japan. These would be Katsuragi Ace in 1984 and Simbali Rudolph in 1985.
Rudolph!
From 1986 to 1991, Japan would see repeated losses at the Japan Cup. As the years progressed, faith in a Japanese victory grew smaller and smaller, and the legacy of the back-to-back wins of Katsuragi Ace and Simbali Rudolph slowly began...
We don't have Katsugari Ace on Global either. We do have Rudolph.
...to become a distant memory. Funnily enough, the Season 1 depiction of Special Week's win would be taken from the 1999 Japan Cup, 7 years after Teio's participation. Special Week's win would usher in another wave of hope for the Japanese people,
yes,
and be the first of several consecutive wins in Japanese racehorses in the following years. The following victories would include TM Opero in the year 2000, and Jungle Pocket in 2001. From 2001 till modern day, foreign competitors would only steal a victory twice from the pride of Japan. What once began as a race would showcase weakness over foreign competitors, now would show strong determination and pride of the Japanese people. Currently, Japan has consecutive wins from 2006 to 2024, an 18-year record of wins at the Japan Cup. Though Special Week's win is seen as a major victory, it would be Tokai Teio's performance in 1993 that would revitalize the pride and hope of the Japanese racehorses. Despite Teio's second fracture and the low placement in the Autumn Tenno show, he was set to participate in the 1992 Japan Cup. It's important to note that Tokai Teio's competition was nothing to scoff at either. Even at the time of writing the script, the horses Teio went up against are still widely seen as the strongest lineup in the history of the Japan Cup races.
What? That's so cool!
Teio wasn't seen as a horse to claim victory either, placing 5th in the overall popularity poll to win. So it would come as a major shock to everyone on November 29, 1992, when Tokai Teio began to advance to the front of the pack. Against all odds, in front of the entire world, Tokai Teio was about to solidify himself as a legendary racehorse. Teio had upset all odds, claiming victory for Japan once more. Even though Teio would never be a Triple Crown recipient, he managed to do something even better. Despite 2 leg fractures, Teio was able to bring home a victory his father had years ago, showcasing the determination and competitive spirit that was still present within Tokai Teio. Teio had not only bested all odds against one of the most difficult rosters ever recorded, but had shown the people that nothing could keep him down. I'll never personally understand why the anime shied away from this race, but I wanted to make sure to highlight it in this video. Aside from Teio's miracle return, which we'll cover shortly, this was the highlight of Tokai Teio's career. The sheer sound of the fans' cheers and the excitement in the announcers' voices are enough to establish just how much hope Tokai Teio had inspired with this triumphant victory.
Oh my god! Won by a hair.
Now that we covered that portion of Teio's career, we can look once more to Uma Musume Season 2 for the final race covered in this series. After sustaining a much more severe fracture...
Yeah, I feel like I'm being sold on the anime and the movies with those videos. Like, I really want to watch them.
3rd of June 1993, Teio would cancel her race at the Takarazuka Kinen. This would showcase the internal struggle of Teio in the anime, seeing how she could have won the competition if she had participated. Teio would go through a lot of highs and lows at this point, but with the help of her friends and her trainer, she'd find the strength and determination to continue on. At this point, Teio would be told she may never race at full capacity again, a devastating blow to the young Uma. Despite this, her determination to race never dwindled.
Wait, what? You watch ostrich races? Is that still a thing? That exists? That actually sounds fun!
Even through the pain of rehabilitation and conditioning, she found herself once more on the racecourse. A year after Tokai Teio's crushing loss at the Rima Kinen, the race following Tokai Teio's Japan Cup victory, she participated in the following year's Rima Kinen. The popularity of Tokai Teio had seen many ups and downs from her audience, but everyone hoped for a miracle for this race. Teio's popularity at the previous Rima Kinen would be first seeded to win. However, after the crushing defeat a year prior, it had dropped to 4th. If Teio's previous absence had little hope for turning a victory, this race had even more doubt. In the recorded history of Japanese horse racing, there hasn't been a single G1 winner that hadn't raced for a year and come back victorious on the track. It's unheard of in general for this to occur at all, to have a horse return after such a long hiatus. Injuries like Teio's, for many, will result in retirement. When the race began, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Teio would perform as he usually did in both the anime and in Uma Musume's final episode. As the race progressed though, just like with the Japan Cup, the audience began to see something remarkable occur. The miracle they all hoped for was about to become a reality. In the anime, Teio digs deep to find the strength to push for first place.
I got scared there, chat.
Directly reflecting actual footage of the 1993 Rima Kinen. Just like in the Japan Cup, the audience cheers were overwhelming. The legacy of Tokai Teio was still alive, and a victory only described as a miracle was about to occur. Teio would surpass Biwa Hayahide near the final spurt of the race, claiming another G1 victory after 364 consecutive days away from the racecourse. This solidified Teio as one of the greatest racehorses of all time, setting the record for the longest period for a G1 winner to return and win yet another G1 race. Even in modern day, this record remains undefeated, a lasting example of Teio's perseverance. The victory in the anime comes off episodes of Teio struggling with her injuries, the possibility of not racing again, nor racing with her beloved rival, Mejiro McQueen. Teio's victory in the anime is described as a miracle race because that's exactly what it was. Not only did Teio defy all odds at the Japan Cup, but once more in 1993 at the Arima Kinen. A victory that would end Teio's career on a high note after sequences of crushing defeats. Sadly, following the Arima Kinen victory, in 1994, Teio would sustain one final fracture that would force him into retirement.
Bro,
Even though
they should have retired him after that horse. Not make him keep on running after that race. Why did I say horse?
Didn't claim the Triple Crown title, Teio had solidified himself as a legendary racehorse. Unsurprisingly, in 1995, Tokai Teio was inducted to the JRA Hall of Fame, immortalizing his story of perseverance and determination. Following Teio's retirement, a photo album was released of him titled Yume o Kakeru, which is the same name as the second season's opening of Uma Musume, a tribute to Teio's legacy and the lasting impact he had on Japanese horse racing. Teio would live out the remainder of his life away from the racetrack, acting as a breeding stallion to continue on the legacy as he did Rudolph's. Teio would have 835 offspring, with some of the most notable being Tokai Point, Yamanin's Cure, Tokai Pulsar, and Strong Blood. Tokai Teio lived comfortably for the remainder of his life before passing away on August 30th, 2013. He was the age of 25 and sadly would die of heart failure.
Aww.
A racehorse who defied all odds and returned to captivate the hearts of millions. This was the story of Tokai Teio, one of determination and perseverance, a legacy honored by an energetic Uma with a love for racing and a drive to never give up.
Why are these videos
What would you like to see me cover next in this series? Be sure to let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you all for joining me, and as always, I will see you all in the next one.
These videos always make me want to cry, even when they end sort of well. I mean, it's normal for a horse to pass away. I'm glad Teio got to live the remainder of his life in peace and, you know, relaxing, as he deserves it. Hey, you! Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell button, and I'll see you in the next video.